Hello everyone, my name is Candelaria Ferrara. I work in CLICE, the Latin American Center for Service Learning. And before starting my presentation, I would like to thank the members of the Erasmus Plus project and the International Association for Service Learning in Higher Education, as well as the CEE Service Learning Network. I will share with you my screen now. My presentation was originally planned as a workshop, but as we are not able to meet, I am very happy to make use of technology in order to be able to present and be here with you today. So transitions towards service learning, different paths to develop a project. As we all know, service learning has a double intention. It has a pedagogical intention and a solidarity intention that are simultaneously present. A good service learning project allows, on the one hand, to improve the quality of the learning, and on the other hand, to open spaces for youth protagonism and citizen participation. Also, offering contributions for the improvement of the quality of life of the community and strengthening of social networks. The quadrants of service and learning. This may be a tool that many of you are already acquainted with and may be tired of listening about. And some of you, maybe this is the first time you are getting to know this tool. I still think it's a potential an effective tool that helps us check where we are standing and to maybe adjust what we are doing so that our experiences are more linked to the service and also to the learning. So as you can see, there are two axes here. The horizontal axis refers to is referred to the learning, and it refers to the higher or lower level of integration of the academic learning, and the vertical axis refers to the service, that is the potential of effectively addressing a social demand with the community satisfaction. And by these two axes, we get 4 different kinds of experiences. Let's get into the first one. The first one is research, field trips, internships without social intentionality. In this pandemic context, of course, we are not going out to the community. We are keeping ourselves safe. So this is one of the experiences that is not as common in this context, but within educational institutions is a very frequent kind of experience we can find. The characteristics of the experiences located in this quadrant is that students go out from the university, and it's good because universities are trying to link the theory with the practice, going beyond the books, but at the same time, they are going to the community to get in touch with the real situation, but there is not any intention to change it. The main idea is to learn from it, so the contact with reality is only instrumental. And the objective is not to make a contribution to the situation, but to impact on the academic quality of the students. The weakness of this kind of activities is that it may weaken the relationship between the university and the community, as sometimes these experiences end up just in papers being published or in laboratories. How to transition from this kind of experiences to service learning? Well, we have to move from being in this axis close to the learning to a higher level of integration with the learning, but with a lower degree of service. So to transition to service learning, what we need to do is to include solidarity work. So going out to the community, not only to study it, but for doing something to transform it. So it is necessary that the community is improved in these kind of experiences, and also that knowledge is applied and enriched by this experience in the social context by attending a social need. I have to move faster. The second quadrant, in the second quadrant, we found the unsystematic solidarity initiatives or volunteering. The thing with this kind of initiatives that are very, very frequent in this time of pandemic, and of course it's an urgent situation and we need to address these activities contributing to help overcome the most urgent problems we are facing. For example, things that are occurring right now is helping the elderly or the people in vulnerable situation to do their shopping, or donating money to the cause, or even donating blood. All those things in this context are more than important. But if we get to analyzing from the service learning perspective, the thing with these initiatives is that they are only occasional and isolated. Therefore, they take place in a limited time. They help overcome this tremendous situation, but the engagement and the learning are not assessed. So for sure, the students are developing philanthropy and emotional values and attitudes, but as they are not being assessed, we cannot really know if the effects of these activities are the ones that we want to get from our educational perspective. So attention to social emergencies, of course, is needed, but we need to think how to link this service to the learning and to make it more systematic. So how do we do to transition these experiences that are unsystematized service initiatives to a service learning experience? Well, the first thing is they have to be sustained over time. So we need to include mid and long-term objectives. In this case, the students need also to be beneficiaries. So we will develop activities to satisfy the community need, but we need to connect those activities to an educational content. The participation should not be voluntary, just by a personal motivation, but they need to be promoted institutionally as a learning initiative. And the objective in these cases will be not only to attend a specific emergency in the community, but also to connect the experience to the educational content. The third is extension, institutional community service, and volunteering. These are this is the best connection to service learning, so to say, because this is a classical kind of volunteering. And what differentiates this from service learning is that sometimes these kind of experiences are not connected to the specific field of the students. For example, we may have medicine students helping the elders with shopping. We may have future teachers volunteering in a hospital, or even economic students teaching online. So these kind of experiences are good because they are sustained over time and they have a profound impact in the students' lives. But the objective is still attending a social need and developing values, but not necessarily contributing to the field in which the students are being educated. How to transition from these volunteering activities to service learning? Well, of course, we still have to sustain these activities over time, and the beneficiaries are still the students and the community. The participation is still promoted institutionally, but the objective is not only to attend a social need and develop pro-social values or participative attitudes, but also we need to connect these initiatives to the academic learning of the students. And this is the key point that differentiates volunteering from service learning. In these cases, for example, we need medicine students to volunteer in hospitals. We need future teachers to tutor online, and economic students to help entrepreneurs with financial management. The last one is service learning, the king, service learning. um, Service learning initiatives are sustained over time, so they address a learning and a service objective, but those all the activities are developed and sustained frequently and a high level of intensity. In these cases, the community is not only a recipient or a beneficiary, but is also a co-protagonist. So the needs are addressed not only for the community, but with the community. In this case, the beneficiaries are the students and the community. Why? Well, because there is a need that is being addressed in the community, but also the students are developing their learning. They are getting real life knowledge, critical thinking, and specific competencies related to the reality in which they are acting. The objective here is improving the conditions of the community, but also a high degree of integration with the formal learning. In this pandemic context, for example, examples of service learning initiatives would be students from pharmacy producing and distributing alcohol to those people that cannot afford it. As I said before, economic students collaborating maybe with micro entrepreneurs with training and technical information about finances. Also, students from psychology collaborating to support those people in vulnerable conditions. So, as I said before, this is a well-known tool that you may already be acquainted with, but still it's a powerful tool because it helps us recognize where we are standing and checking on the possible changes that we can do in order to have a higher quality of service, higher quality of learning, and therefore having a service learning practice. You may already be acquainted with this graph. This was pictured by Andrew Furco. It's a metaphor that talks about two spheres. The academic experience, if the academic experience was the red sphere and the social needs were the blue sphere, then service learning would be the purple sphere. But not just as mere contact, but as an inextricable part of one another. Before finishing, I wanted to share with you this map. We have been collecting experiences from all over the world in the past 3 months, getting acquainted to what is being done in relation to service learning, attending the pandemia. So I strongly suggest you to visit CLAI's webpage, clais.org, and check on this map and maybe adding your own experience in this time. Thank you all for having the chance to be here with us, still getting together. And I hope that this pandemic time is a good opportunity to reflect on what we are doing to improving our practices, and if we are lucky enough to constructing a better society. Looking forward to seeing you all.